Yeah, so it was a bit my fault. I'm not going to talk about LM psychology. I'm sorry about the people that were expecting this. I sent my slide way too late. So my speech is about a new programming language. So previously I worked on LLM psychology for a year and a half. I actually wrote a post called Studying the Alien Mind, which tries to like approach the systems as an alien mind and try to study them with like an ethological approach. But this was my previous startup. I stopped doing this like 6 months ago because I was quite frustrated by the state of the way we build systems. So I spent 3 years like red teaming them, doing a lot of jailbreaking for like OpenAI, Anthropics, and a lot of companies like this. And I was very frustrated about the fact that the way we build currently is broken. And like I saw a lot of ways we could have improved the system I was jailbreaking. And so this is why I'm going on the other side right now. I'm trying to like think about like how do we actually build the systems that are robust and how do we put the tools in the hands of the developers to be able to create those aligned AI systems. I'm also going to get my notes because okay. So the way I'm thinking about it is I think the first thing we need to fix is the language. So we've always which next one? What button is it? Okay, thanks. Just before, yeah. So in the past, we've always built the language around the thing that we needed to build. So for example, when we started having hardware, we started with like assembly. So assembly was developed for talking directly to the computer. And then we had C for building more complex operating systems. And then we had Python and JavaScript. Like we always try to go one level higher in terms of abstraction for the things that we were building. And currently the way we build and what we build has changed dramatically, but the language has not changed at all. So I think this is one level that we need to improve on. Yeah, next. Thank you. So there's two different things that has changed. There's the way we build. So I was part of the people who were like very reticent about like putting AI into my coding experience because I love like having a deep knowledge of all the parts of my infrastructure, and so I took a lot of time before I actually use the AI for coding for myself. And I started doing this around 6 months ago, and I like the way I code has completely changed. Like I almost don't read anymore like all my lines of code. What I do is like I'm trying to be very specific about what I want to build, and then I spend time like very like describing a lot, and then I kind of trust the AI to build it correctly, and then in the end I just double check by like asking the AI to do whether the infrastructure is actually what I wanted. And I have a really hard time like trying to visualize what's actually is happening. And actually I have anecdotes on this project. So it's been a month and a half I started, and the first week I kind of like was very specific about the infrastructure of what I wanted to build, and a week after this, I kind of like started building on top of it because it was working, and I discovered at some point that one specific point I said about my infrastructure was not followed, and so I ended up having to redo the entire thing. So I lost a week of work just because the AI didn't like follow exactly the infrastructure I asked it, and so there is an issue with like the coordination between the human and the AI when we build. Like the way we build is like fundamentally broken, and the second thing is what we build is changing. So like we have many agents, we have many like AI being integrated into the code currently, but and I would argue that we are very far from having seen the actual like best way we are going to code with AI currently. So in my previous startup, I worked on a system that was automatically generating jailbreak prompts, and the way it worked is like it was very robust, and it was also so I used a genetic algorithm, and for genetic algorithm you need to have like a real understanding of how your individual is like done. So basically you want to have like very clear understanding of my individual is made of these operations. So you want to have like different operations, but at the same time you want also to have the flexibility of being able to generate whatever prompts. So for example, you want to be able to say I want to elicit the behavior of generating methamphetamine. So what I want is like, this is my input, and my output is I want to find the prompts that elicit this behavior. But then you have like a methodology which says, okay, I know how to build a prompt. I need to like add this specific sentence. I need to transform this sentence with like Japanese. I need to like encode this sentence. And then like all those operations combined becomes a prompt specifically. And so the way I build it is like I had objects which were operations, and I had LLMs that were doing the glue between the elements. So it was like very much like the rigidity of code and like the ability to have actually understanding of what's happening, and at the same time the generalization of LLM, which were able to like turn unstructured data into structured data inside the infrastructure itself. So it was not like it was not a thing that was done on top or like in the loop. It was part of the infrastructure itself, and the language currently don't really allow this kind of developments. If you can do this with like doing API calls within your code, so you have to like really patch, like add API calls within the code to be able to do this like woven infrastructure. So yeah, maybe next. So there's all those things also, like when AI does like code currently, it lost a lot of context on boilerplate stuff that people have already done. For example, like API call, they have to like go search on the specific API information, like what are the input, what are the outputs, and if like it's the AI has to code a lot of patterns that have already been done. Also, the humans, it's very hard for them to like see what's actually happening. Second thing is, so this hybrid execution model, you can't have it currently, and or you can do this with API call, but it's not great. And the patterns aren't very composable, so you can use libraries. Libraries are used for reusing patterns that other people have done, but it's not a high level of reusability. You have to like use specific functions, but it's not like a pattern that have already been previous that you can reuse. Yeah. Thanks. So the language I'm building, it has 3 properties. So the first one is everything is a node. So when you think about a language, it has what we call first-class citizen. First-class citizen of a language is, for example, an integer, a float, a function, an object. These are like first-class integer. For me, the first citizen is everything on top of it, which is like LLM calls is a first-class citizen. A code itself is a first-class citizen. So it's not the int itself, but it's the code, a piece of code. A human in the loop is a first-class citizen. A database is also a first-class citizen. So it means that your code does not have like a difference of like, this is your infrastructure, this is your code, this is whatever. Everything is on the same level of abstraction. Yeah, next. Thank you. So it looks like this in practice. The AI has like, there is 2 views. This is the second property. There is the code view, which is what the AI sees, and there is the human view, which is what the human sees in their workflow. And it's like while the AI codes some piece of code, you can see live the thing being updated. So you can like very follow exactly what the AI is doing through like a visual architecture. And also, I think I forgot on the previous one, group of nodes are nodes, which mean like you can create a pattern, put it like chain a bunch of nodes for like a specific patterns, and you can collapse it back into a node because it has like input, outputs, and a specification of what it does. And so you can like reuse patterns of stuff that people have already done, and it's basically itself a first-class primitive. So you can always go higher and higher in terms of level of abstraction, and it's also the case for the code itself, which means that you can always like take a group, collapse it. And here I collapsed it a bit like manually, but what's happening is that you can see what is the input of this group, what is the output of this group, and what is the description of what it's doing. So when you collapse, you only see in-out description, and when you expand, you actually see what's happening inside. So the AI can like dynamically update the code while it's working on specific things. Yeah, next. Thank you. And also like, this is part of the net aspects I already touched on, but currently when we build system, there's like either we like do full code, it's like rigid, predictable, and it's not like you can't really handle a lot of unstructured data, or you can do agent and tool calls, but they are like very fragile, and it's like you can't really control what's happening. And having a graph allows you to have both the ability to have rigid like control and structure into the system, and at the same time you have the ability to have unstructured data that flows, because information can be whatever, but the structure is done by like the design of the infrastructure. Yeah, thanks. And yeah, one other thing I was very like adamant about is having human in the loop. So I want to have a node which is basically the human, and it's done with an extension. So I built a browser extension where you can connect to the backend, and while your execution run, it can like query you when there is a specific like needs for a human in the loop, basically. And you can just drop it inside the graph. It just like flows in the human, and you can just like answer the question, and it will like continue the flow natively. Yeah, great. And also the aspect about the ability to have like a group of nodes being shareable is that you can like optimize a lot on specific patterns to make them like robust and like compliant. So it allows people to just say, okay, I want my system to be compliant. I already have a pattern for, I don't know, a browser's agent. So you can imagine a browser's agent patterns with like prompts with like a robustness check in front with like a lot of things you can build around this browser use agent, and then you can collapse it into a node, which is the browser use agent, and anyone that uses it basically has like the ability to have like a robust browser use agent and a robust and like compliance by default. Next. And so I'm just going to show. It was supposed to be a video. Okay, my bad. It's my fault, I think. I forgot to show. Yeah, so I just wanted to show in practice how it looks like currently. So I did a comparison between Cloud Code and my tool for building automated cold outreach. So it's something that a lot of people are talking about, but no one is actually trying to build it. And so I tried in practice to say, okay, if I wanted to automate my cold outreach with Apollo is a company that does people and organization search with like high level of details. And so I did the comparison. It actually took me an hour and a half to get it with Cloud Code, and I tried voluntarily to do it like well. And I had one big bug, like it ignored one of my instructions, and I got to an infinite loop. I had to run to the computer to like start the computer to run. Like I spent a lot of tokens on it. And for my tool, it was 4 minutes. I just like did one prompt. It's yeah, the video shows how it looks like in practice. Like when the AI codes, you see like the graph being built real time, and then the execution is like once it's done, you just have to fill one thing, which is like the app information, and then like the Gmail credentials, and it directly runs. And yeah, and so it's like also the amount of lines of code you have for this system is very compressed compared to. So it's still a very beta version. So this is probably going to be going down as when I optimize the system. Yeah, and I think I think that's good. Yeah, if you have a question, I have some time. Yeah. Thank you.